So I'd like to call this meeting to order and pledge allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you all. Welcome to that, Andrea, our clerk. Yep. Hi, Bob. How are you? So first, I'd like to have public comment. Is there anybody wishing to?
Well,
You just make a statement so it's on the record.
so my concern is, well, first of all, my name is Carl Price. I live at 158 Brandy Street. We have a business at 228 Boston, and we have been having an ongoing issue with the odor of sewer gas at our property, at the Bolton veterinary property primarily, but it also extends a little bit up and down the 40-foot corridor. And I know we've made numerous phone calls to the town of Bolton, to Mr. Rupert's office, and we have had input from the Mr. Rupert's office about putting in some deodorant into the sewer line. But in my opinion, that's only a temporary solution to an ongoing problem. And this problem has been occurring since basically 5-6 years. And I would like to see the situation rectified. Mr. Rupert has suggested that we contact the Bolton Lake Regional Water Pollution Control Authority and discuss it with them. But I would like the selectmen to be aware that we're not happy. And it's not only outside the establishments, but it's permeating the air inside the buildings as well. And I will be glad to meet with Mr. Moore's committee at when I'm invited to do so. And but if we cannot come to a resolution, I would like to personally see the town engineer or some engineer, along with some field personnel, come to my business or the veterinary hospital or both to discuss the situation and to look inside that manhole where the transition from a pressurized system to a gravity feed system occurs in front of our building. So I will leave it at that.
Thank you
And
very
I
much.
will wait to hear from the regional water pollution control authority,
Got our attention,
And then I-
curiosity. So
if I'm not happy.
we appreciate you bringing it forward.
Thank you.
All right, Bob?
Bob Moore, 15 Tinker Pond Road. As chair of the sewer authority, I thank Carl for bringing this to our attention, if I may. In our comments, we share his concern, and we are invited him and to attend our meeting in February. And also to sit down with Mr. Rupert and I to also discuss it further, as far actually meeting with his representative from his store and also the veterinarians as to where we can go, what we can do, and how to do it. And we'd like to get this resolved as much as he does. And I think for me, I think it's important for the authority to hear from the individuals that are impacted rather secondly. So I think it's important to be there. And I think I feel strongly that we will resolve this. So that's. I wasn't here for that, but it's just fortunate that but it worked out well. Sometimes, luck is better than the best planning in the world. I am here though, however, as chair of the Veterans Commission, and I placed on your each of your papers there this is a letter that we received from our assessor quite a while ago, which describes some action that the legislature had taken regarding veterans benefits, originally back in 2024. I'll try to be brief as I can. That particular legislation affected all the communities, and it was for totally disabled veterans. Whether the VA considered disabled or they were in a position where they're unable to earn a living. And that legislation provided relief from local property taxes, specifically their dwelling. That's it. And that was passed, and every town has that. This past year, they added a couple of sections which provided some additional benefits for others, but each community has to approve that. So the one item, you would turn to the second page, which is section 241. It's a municipal option to exempt the dwelling of surviving spouse of a person killed in action while on active duty. This is new and is very similar. The benefits are the same. The benefit is basically forgiveness of tax on their dwelling. That's it. And you could add the lot that goes with it, but right now, what the board is recommended that this portion be adopted, as I do not believe it goes beyond impacting one family that they're.
Somebody fix the audio.
I'm sorry?
Is there something wrong with the speaker?
The audio is being intermittent. We can't hear the entire speak of Bob.
Really? I'm right here on top of it. But anyways, I'll go back. It is section 241.
Now there's nothing. There's no voice.
I usually have problems with it. I'm hearing it loud and clear.
Oh, you can hear everything?
Bob, you can hear us?
Yes.
Yeah, I can
Okay, it's not
hear
on.
you as well. This is the recording clerk. I just had questions, so I'll hold them to the end.
Okay. Okay.
Should I continue?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
But anyhow, it impacts one family, Mrs. Clark, whose husband was killed on a training mission a couple of years back. And so she initially brought this to our attention. We discussed it at our meeting, and it was the vote of the Veterans Commission to bring it forward to the board to implement this. And and I brought this to you now so you can at least have a chance to look at it. I have a copy of the complete description, everything is, and the process that it goes. It's the process, and it has to be applied to on an annual basis. And there's restrictions on it. Should the person be it, whichever spouse remarries, that goes away. But however, it's one of these things that if it happens to an individual, it's generally the major person that's providing income to the family. Not only is it an emotional loss, it's an economic loss. Being able to pass not paying the tax on your dwelling, which averages about $6,000. I mean, that's an average. That's significant. So I would ask the board to add this to one of your agendas, look it over, and I'd be happy to come back and Mrs. Clark would even come and speak to you if you feel it's necessary.
thank you, Bud. Very good. We'll get it on the agenda. Any other public comment?
Ron had his hand up at one point.
Ron, do you have? Andrew has questions.
Ron, we can't hear you now. You're breaking up now.
Can you hear me at all?
A little bit now, yes.
Maybe I'm not close enough, but
Yeah, I
it's
think
just
that'll work.
you think being close was the difference?
Yes, that's working.
Can you give us your name and address?
Oh yeah, Ron Carboni at 15 Birch Mountain Road Extension.
Thank you.
just well, that was my first thought. Wasn't sure everybody was getting the audio, so I was saying I was getting a broken up audio. I would just mention to Bob, just to say, unless he's aware of the MVP, which is Million Veterans Program. If he's aware of it, I was just going to mention it to him. But since he mentioned veterans, I just thought I would bring it up and say something.
Very
It's a
good.
program that they take blood samples and they categorize it, and they do it anonymously so that the benefit of the service members is processed as information for future medical treatments and understandings. That's just a short version of what it is. So thank you.
What was the name of it again?
It's called a Million Veterans Program, MVP. It's a VA program. It's been going on for a number of years. A lot of people aware, but I just wanted to just remind Bob if he was aware of it. And it's just something veterans can participate if they choose to. If they don't, obviously nobody gets the benefit of their blood sample.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And then
Thank you.
Andrea.
Andrea, you got some questions?
Yeah, can I get the spelling of the first gentleman's name? He lived on 158 Brandy Street.
P as in Peter, R-E-U-S-S.
Peter Roos. Okay. And that was 158 Brand.
Price. It's
First
good.
name is Carl with a C.
Okay, Carl.
The
Yeah.
last name is spelled P-R-E-U-S-S.
Okay. And that was 158 Brandy Street. And your business is at 228 Boston Turnpike.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. And the second gentleman just so happens to be the chair of the sewer authority,
Yes.
but he happens to be there for a different topic. And can he spell his name, please?
It's Bob, last name Mora, Morra.
Could you state your address, please?
15 Tinker Pond Road.
And the last gentleman that spoke, Ron.
Yeah, Ron Carboni.
Can you spell your last name, please?
Oh, Carbone.
And your address, please?
15 Birch Mountain Road Extension.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, is there any other public comment? Seeing none. Number 4, we're going to consider an act on appointing members to the temporary building committee. We have. Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
We have first off, Chris Piano. He's an R. We should do these one at a time, huh? I'd like to make a motion to appoint Chris Piano to the temporary building committee as a full member.
I'll second that motion. That's David.
Is there any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Bob, so that's 5 yes.
Tim and Matt are absent.
Tim, yep, thank you. Tim, Matter, absent. And next, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Jessica Webb Arsmuskis. Oh, sorry if I screwed it.
Ismicus.
Arsmuskis. And she's a D as a full member to the temporary building committee.
Rice seconds that motion.
Is there any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
That's 5 yes and 2 absent. Next, the Board of Ed has opted to appoint Andrew Brownell as a full member. So I'd like to make a motion to appoint Andrew as a full member.
Rice seconds that.
Is there any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
5 yes, 2 absent. And next, from the Board of Selectmen, I put out an ask to see if anybody wanted to be on it, and Tim said he was interested, so I'd like to appoint Tim Sadler.
He's not specifically on the agenda, so you may wish to add that to the
Oh,
agenda.
I'll make a motion to add Tim Sadler's appointment to the temporary building committee to the agenda.
I'll second it. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye, that's 5 yes.
That was David who made the motion.
And Rodney seconded. So seeing that, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Tim Sadler. He's a Republican, as a full member to the temporary building committee.
Bryce seconds that motion.
Is there any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it's 5 yes and 2 absent. There's still one position available. So
Is it a member at large position or is that?
Just a member at large position,
Yes.
and to keep things even, it should be a G.
should be a DRI. Yeah, so, I mean, I can.
I'm there. We'll get him.
But you don't get appointed.
You're fine.
You're safe. Thanks, Bob. Thank you, Bob.
So, thank you, and that takes care of that. Now moving on to 6 correspondence. In deep regret, we have a resignation letter from John Treat on the Highway Department. He's been with us for 6 years.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, and he's a very talented and personable person. Been living in town all his life, and we really hate to see him go. We have to have a motion on that.
We normally do, yep.
So I'd like to make a motion to accept John Treat's resignation from the Highway Department.
Bryce will second that motion to accept the resignation.
Is there any other discussion?
Yes, I have one. I
Yes.
have a question.
Yes, Bob.
Maybe, Mr. Rupert, you could tell me, do we have some kind of a process for exit interviews?
We don't have a formal process, but he and I have already spent some time together discussing his reasons for leaving.
Well, I'm just coming from a corporate background. Anytime we have people leaving, the upper management always is interested in the reasons why.
I think we've ascertained that from John.
Do we have plans to make any adjustments necessary to the department, how the department operates?
I think his is more of a personal,
Okay.
Yeah, his reasons for leaving are not something I could share in a public meeting.
right? Unfortunately. If you knew John,
Okay.
you'd know. But,
That's fine.
okay.
But I have Bob sat with John, and we've talked about all of the reasons that he is leaving, and he's made some suggestions about things that might improve things for the next person stepping into that role.
Thank
And
you.
we are taking those very seriously.
Thank you.
Do you know if he shared those same discussions with AJ?
I don't.
Right.
AJ is probably not in a position to resolve most of them.
Okay.
And some of it has to do with storms, working 24 hours at a time. So, I guess I just moving on. Any other questions? Any other comments?
Have we we haven't acted on the motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
It's 5 yes, 2 absent. Next is Stephanie Crane. I'd like to make the motion to accept Stephanie Crane's resignation as the recreation director. Stephanie has taken on a new job in Rocky Hill, I think it is. Pretty sure.
I don't remember the town.
Yeah, and
Newington.
Newington, okay. And she's now part of a team of recreation people and much bigger budget and so forth. So She's excited about it. She has a lot of things changing in her life at the moment. And I'd like to wish her the best of luck. She feels bad about leaving. Is there a second on that motion?
I'll make a second to accept her resignation and also to second the value that she has brought to the town.
Is there any other discussion?
Do we have a handover or changeover plan in terms of how we plan to document what she knows is how the
Yes,
contract operates?
yes, that is happening as we speak.
Okay.
She's here for a couple more weeks and she is working on putting together a book for us. She's trying to close some things out. And we're working on a transition plan. And she's very actively engaged with us in that transition plan. Good question.
And Doug put in a lot of work to get the recreation department to be like a net zero, and where in is out and don't have to come to the selectmen. So
We've worked very hard on that.
would
Yes.
like to see that continue.
Absolutely.
For turnover.
Yep.
Thank you, David.
She's been fighting basketball coaches, from what I understand, but because they're having issues too. There's only so many basketball coaches. There's a ton of basketball games. To try to get them is a battle.
And gym space has been an issue this year.
And Jim's, okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
It's 5 yes, 2 absent. New business. Consider and possibly act on the capital budget.
Do we need to do the budgets one by one for town, one for Board of Ed? Or I guess there's one joint. I'll make a motion to accept the capital improvement plan, a total of $15,370,000 for bonding projects. Is that
No,
just?
that's not what we're looking at. We're looking at the actual capital budget.
Well, that's fine. I was like,
Yeah, it doesn't say.
And
there's 3 different things here, so I take back that motion. Which one do we need to do first?
Just, do you need to?
so, yeah, so the bonding stuff we will be working on at a later date. That just happened to be on the same form.
Okay. So do we need to do the,
And you don't have to act on the capital budget tonight. That's why it says possibly. And you may wish to wait until you see a bigger picture of the entire budget in case you want to make some changes, because the Board of Selectmen does have the ability to make changes to the capital budget.
then I'll make a motion to table accepting the capital budget.
But But this is an opportunity to talk about it. So if the board, wants to
part of the
become
discussion.
informed, yeah.
For both the town and BOE, to a later date, be determined by the board.
I'll second that.
So is there any discussion about it?
We did work, I think we were here for 4 or 5 hours total between 2 nights, working on the capital improvements budget, determining, hey, where do certain line items go? How do you split it up so that it's feasible between 2 or 3 years rather than just like, we were looking at large numbers 3 or 4 years from now and we're like, well, that doesn't make sense. Split that up between 2 or 3 years so we can have smaller, more manageable numbers, and then it accumulates. And by the 3rd year or 4th year, whatever that happens to be, you have the money that you need to be able to do that project. One of those examples would be like the line item 11, the fire suppression, where there's 3 years of 30,000 versus one large lump sum.
And the column that's called prior funds, is that same idea? That's money that was put aside in past years?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. So that's money that it is already somewhere.
Already allocated to that particular line item?
Yes.
Right. So as it moves over, and one other thing we did do, is we had 170,000, no, 200,000 for the, no,
You're talking about the Willamette Bridge? Oh, the water,
Yes.
wasn't it?
It's the-
That's line 52.
$145,000 for town improvement to infrastructure and operation.
Yeah,
And what does that entail?
That's the sewer extension up to water extension up to like where we were talking about with Chris and Bolton that up into the
we're gonna have to have matches to any grants or bonds that we get, so without this money, we can't even go after them.
Mhm.
So it's at a stalemate. So that's in there, which is 145 this year and 200 for next year.
you were confused.
No, I'm just
Okay, just processing.
processing questions. Yeah.
So I think it's important for the board to understand that I think it was 2 years ago, I think we crafted, this was a new line item in the capital budget, and this was crafted very carefully, the title of it, because it allows us to be a little bit flexible. It's not for one specific project. It is for planning, implementation, and improvements to town facilities, infrastructure, and operations. So it's a fairly broad category. But the idea that, and the conversation that happened at the finance committee most recently was, in preparation for being able to do something with a water line, they wanted to put money into that line item.
So the whole thing came up to, let's see, wasn't it town project total?
954,015.
And the Board of Ed subtotal was 176, so it came up to over $1 million. But then you get the past project reallocation. I don't remember where that is.
So that's for projects that have been completed and have leftover money. So we had leftover money in the, if I know not most of you weren't here, but we had money in this capital budget for a contingency fund for the project at Notch Road, which was the demolition. And we had over $100,000 left in our contingency fund. Because things generally came in on time and on budget. So we were able to take those funds and reallocate those to different line items. And I think that may have been some of the money that we moved into line 52. And there's,
Well, we were able to put money in 52 because we could take this correction.
Yeah.
Right.
and I think there was a couple of other areas where we had a little bits of money left over. I don't recall what they were, but we were able to reallocate that as well.
So out of that $100,000 remaining, there was $55K that seeded this in a sense.
Yeah.
And then so where did the remaining 45 go?
Well, hold on. The next page on the back.
Are you talking about the past project reallocation?
Yeah,
One, like,
which is almost down to the very bottom. It's the only one in parentheses.
Yeah, of the demolition specifically.
That was a-
So the reality is we talked about it as taking the money and move it into a different line, but the reality is it just comes off the bottom.
Like Jill, in order to accounting practice, she just wants a negative on the bottom, the credit. So you put in what you want and then it credits. So it comes out to
so
zero.
that left over.
So there's yes. And so then there's a demolition line with that credit.
No,
It used to be, it's gone.
Oh, it's gone.
It's gone
It's
now.
gone now.
Yeah.
So where did that $45,000 go in our budget?
It became a minus at the end of this one, right? So you see,
The 287.
you see the 200 on the second page, you see the 287,000.
Thank you.
06734. That's project reallocation. Those are funds that were left over from finished projects that got reallocated, and 100,000 of that came from the demolition line item.
So
So that $55,000 is not actually accounted in that?
No, I think
that's
No.
a separate reallocation.
Yeah,
So the Notch Road demolition was not under line item 52.
got it.
Right.
And so, okay, so I had understood that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
From what
there
Jim had
was
said,
specifically a demolition line item in a previous
So
capital.
that 55 is from elsewhere, not like allocated from other budgets, not allocated from this project finished and had money left over.
Thank you.
But my understanding, that line item in the future would be, hey, we put a type of project like that underneath that line item. That way, if we don't have this line item that's accruing money separately, it's, hey, this is going to improve infrastructure. We take from that line item and determine what projects fall under there. Right.
Yeah, no, and I think that does show, you know, a level of discretionary and convenience, but just making sure that it is, you know, accounted
From
correctly.
an accounting standpoint.
And
Has been labeled.
when we created this, we did have conversations with the audit.
Right. So in order to label it
Yeah.
as something that's useful on a everyday basis
Mhm.
versus a single project.
But it gives the board some flexibility.
Yes.
So we were just kind of randomly using that 145 as a number. So it could have been whatever.
So like, let's say we need to reduce that in the future budget, we can move some of that to a future year, just knowing that, hey, when we get to that future year, it's going to potentially be more that we need if we realize, hey, we need this in the next year to be able to do this grant. And that's true of any of these line items. So it's like we tried to split it up to make it more manageable, but if we need to move something between years and line items, that way we can gap the budget between votes, we can do that.
Right, and I can't help but be curious on, are we kicking the can down the road on some of the things in 28 as well? Where we have $2.9 million there, so
Where?
to the extent, okay, all right.
Yeah.
We'll fight this next
It
year.
evolves.
So there, 3 of those line items account for over $1 million.
Right.
Yeah, they,
If they know that.
Right, yeah, correct.
yeah, like the Heritage Farm bathrooms per master plan, $800,000.
Right.
So we put that in there. So now if we go for a grant or something and we
Right.
happen to get it, or
Yeah.
we can say it was on our master plan and we can allocate it. Correct.
Correct.
Am I
That's
getting
why
the hang of
that's
this?
exactly why we put it in.
And similar to
The soccer fields and the pavilion as well.
the,
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
It helps us if we apply for grants for these things.
So you keep in mind that we have to spend at least 1 mil, which we're not sure how much that is.
The mill rate, not 1 mil, just because they're so close. Just for clarification,
Good point. Okay.
1 mil is like usually around $850,000 or $900,000.
Oh, no, it was like 6.
Oh, it was that well?
Six.
Okay,
About
sorry.
650.
That's, yeah.
All right.
We don't
I'm
know
mistaken.
quite yet what it is.
Pitch up.
I'm mistaken.
So we're at, the bottom line here is 850, 841. So,
843, 447.
Yes, that's
Right.
that's the
Yeah.
Yep.
so we're kind of sitting in a pretty good position, but we really want to wait to see what the Board of Ed comes in with for a budget. We want to see what the Board of Selectmen come in with as for a budget before we say, okay. Because the
Yeah.
total budget could be out of whack. Or it could be in line. The preference is you don't knock this down, but last year they were eating at it like it was bubblegum
Yeah.
or candy. Candy.
And the 1 mil, I believe, is a minimum set by
Yes,
charter.
that's accurate.
So, I mean, if we really feel strongly that we want to do, if 1 mil comes in at 650,000 and this is at 843 and we feel very strongly about sticking to the 843.
Right.
We can. There's nothing that says that we have to stay at 1 mil.
That's accurate.
I think 3 is the max. 3 mil. Is it 3? 3? Something like that.
We're far from that.
Yeah, we're nowhere near that.
Right.
I think this is a good starting point. I think the finance committee, acting as a capital committee, did a great job and really had thoughtful conversations. So I think, they are serving us well.
So I say we hold off on making any decisions.
So we need to vote on the motion to table that until a further meeting.
I think the motion table should be to a specific meeting too.
Okay. So do we want to make a meeting?
There's a lot of meetings coming up.
So we have to present our budget to the finance committee or give it to them, not present it to them, not later than March 15th. So do you want to have it on a specific meeting or do you want to have it at a meeting not later than that first regular meeting?
I think it'll be not later than the first full meeting in March, right?
That makes sense to me, but This is the board that makes the decision. That would be my
If I amend my
recommendation.
motion, is anyone going to have an issue with the first full meeting in March? No, go for it.
No.
I will amend my motion then to table the conversation about the capital improvement budget until the no later than the first full Board of Selectmen meeting in March.
I'll second that.
That was Gwen seconding.
Is there any further discussion? Bob, you're good with that?
Good.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
5 yes, 2 absent. Consider an act on resolution for Parks and Rec grant, which is our $250,000 grant.
Correct. It's the last piece I need to finalize the application.
I'll make a motion to authorize First Selectman Rodney Fournier to sign the resolution as presented.
Second.
Oh, Bob
Bob
seconds.
beat you. Good job, Bob.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, that's 5 yes, 2 absent. Discussion on streetlight on Route 44 near Dollar General.
So we've had a request to add a street light to that location. And knowing the board would want information before they considered it, I reached out to the state of Connecticut, because that is a state road. State road said, we don't really have a problem with it. You'd have, a permit that you'd have to apply for, but we're not going to do it and we're not going to pay for it. And then as some of you know, recently we had the same discussion about a street light just down the street here. And you requested that we get information from nearby residents. And so I sent out a letter to nearby residents, and we included a copy of that letter in the package. We got one response back. That was a positive response, and that individual said they were speaking for their neighbor as well. We got no negative responses. And so our experience was, there's some paperwork to deal with to get a street light installed. And there's an ongoing cost of $18 a month for each street light. But there, a resident brought up a safety concern about lighting at that location, which is across from Dollar General. They find that intersection is dark and difficult to find, especially when you are headed east from the center of Bolton on Route 44.
And so is it that the entrance to Dollar General is hard to find?
No,
Yeah.
just the whole thing.
It's not just the entrance to Dollar General. There's, Dollar General and Bolton Lake Dental is there. And there's still one commercial lot to be developed on that parcel.
Which could be residential or commercial, and it could be a multi thing.
Do we have an idea what the initial cost would be?
There was no cost to us to install the street light just down the street by the library here. It's just an ongoing cost of $18 a month.
Charged by the state?
No, charged by the Eversource, the power company.
Right.
And that's likely to go up over time, but that's what our current.
So,
Cost.
okay, so understanding the light installed by Eversource gets mounted to the existing infrastructure that's already there, it wouldn't be a new pole.
And they did not charge us for the light we put up down here by the town green. So I guess my assumption is that we would also not be charged for this light, and that was a very recent installation.
So every street light you drive by, it's $160 a year, or whatever, 12 times 18,
216.
260.
Then I
What?
move that we authorize the town administrator to proceed with the application for getting that done.
There's a second.
We only have discussion on the agenda. Do we need to approve?
And before we leave discussion, which I think You're right then too. So just the addresses that were included within this packet, these are just those that were notified of.
That's correct. And I did that because there was, kind of a geographic cutoff, right? I mean, this, went, from that location, it went east until we hit businesses, and it came west until we got to intersections. That's how I made the distinction of how far I was going to go with sending letters. I had to figure out where to make a reasonable cutoff. And that was a discretion on my part, but that's how I arrived at that.
Thank you, Jim.
So,
And I, honestly, I thought the board may want to drive through there in the dark and take a look themselves and, so that they have an opinion before they act.
I actually have. I actually have.
If we think we need a motion out of this meeting to be able to proceed, then I can second Bob's motion. I think
Or if you want to open the agenda too, it's up to.
I mean, I can proceed with just consensus. I don't think we need a motion.
Okay.
Right.
Then
Then we'll move with David's second and then go to vote.
All right, I'll second Bob's motion then.
All in favor? Everybody?
Aye.
Aye. It's 5 yes, 2 absent. You're authorized to move forward.
Okay.
Discussion reference CROG presentation on routes 644 and 384. So I guess this is going to be a matter of what are we going to do now? We have to,
We have a public hearing at some point, right, that we're gonna set up?
ultimately, we need to draft a letter to give to CROG saying we like this or we don't. So,
I don't know that it's a public hearing. I think it's a public informational meeting for the board to take in information from the residents of the town to see how they feel about it. And I think that will probably, that will drive, the board's opinion about where we go from there. But, the ultimate goal here is to achieve some support from the Board of Selectmen so that we can draft a letter to give to CROG, which will get us an opportunity to meet with Connecticut DOT about the project.
But we could have a public hearing without sending a letter to CROG.
That's correct.
Right.
You want to have that public meeting before you act as a board. Yeah, you want to be informed.
So I
Right.
think we should set a date for a public
I
hearing.
think we need to find a date for that.
is it a public hearing or just
I
a?
would say it's a public informational meeting.
We don't mind input. I don't know if we want to be voting. If somebody comes up with something drastic enough where we say, okay, let's not do this. That's, but
No, I agree. I think we should have a public information session, and then on another agenda, it should be discussed and vote on
Right.
whether to
Authorize.
support this
Yeah.
plan for
right.
CROG.
We wouldn't want to have too much time probably between the information session and the actual meeting. That way,
Yeah.
We don't have too many meetings where we either have to say, oh no, there's no public comment here, and people want to keep building out,
Yep.
or we even do it the same night, depending on if you
Yeah.
have back to back, like you said, that right before a meeting. That kind of thing.
I think that's a good idea to have a special meeting right after the public information session.
But the presentation is on the town's website. It's right on the header, easy to find. Did they put anything in the bulletin saying that that's there and they should look at it?
We haven't, was, sort of waiting for this meeting to happen so that we can talk about, what we're going to do next, and we can say, hey, look, this is what we're going to have. Here's the information.
Right.
It just seems to make sense to, put that all together in one.
And they actually provided a link where they, on the Bolton bulletin, where if you clicked it, it would bring you
She
there.
puts links in the bulletin on a regular
So,
basis.
yeah, so we could put in a bulletin that we're going to have this public thing and have the link to the site.
Well, I think,
Yeah.
once we set a date for the public informational meeting, I would recommend that we do what we normally do, what we have been doing for
Coffee and
Coffee and Conversation, which is also to put it on our social media accounts.
Right.
I don't know if anybody gets the JI other than me, but there was actually an article about it in the JI
Was there?
yesterday, I
Did
believe.
he put my name in there?
Yes, you were quoted.
Okay.
You sounded very smart. And
Thank you.
Good job.
yes, yeah, your quotes were good. And it was actually, I mean, it was by a real reporter who's been there for quite a while, Joseph Villanova.
Yeah, we hear from him every once in a while.
So I don't know if he was at that, maybe he was here. I wouldn't
No,
recognize him by
he
face.
wasn't.
He was not here.
I mean, the reporting's online, so.
So maybe that's what he listened to, but I thought that was great. And then also on the front page of the JI, they have little summaries of the highlighted articles that are in it, and that was one.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was amazing.
So DOT probably has some awareness that we're talking about this already.
Yes. So I was happy to see that. And I think, and the map was reproduced in the article also.
Yeah, he said he had gone through and seen it on the website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then thinking of timing too, with one public hearing on February 17th and our next full meeting on March 3rd. Seems like a lot to fit in that time period for an additional meeting.
Yeah, I would do it after your regular meeting in March. That would be my recommendation. You have a very full February.
And then with that being said, you are comfortable moving in March or April to the DOT on this.
So we won't drive the conversation with DOT CROG.
Well,
So
We
what,
read the letter. It's-
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
That's what-
writing the letter. I mean, I can probably have it sort of somewhat drafted even before the public informational meeting and the board's, action. But
Well, let's say, our regular meeting's at what, 6:30 on the 3rd, so do we do the public information session at like 5 or 5:15?
It kind of cuts out a segment of the population.
Yeah,
to
I-
do it that early.
So then do we-
I would almost prefer you do it maybe the next Tuesday. And just have that as a special meeting.
Yeah, it looks like we have an AP meeting on March 10th.
There is.
You could do it the same
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure we publicize that.
Yes, we'll publicize that very
So you're gonna change your. No, that is.
We haven't made motion yet about this. I'm gonna leave that one to Bryce.
And you don't have to make a motion. You just have to say, this is when we're gonna do it and we will make it happen.
All right, well, that's when we're gonna do it.
March 10th.
March 10th.
Bippity boppity bip.
That will be done, please.
Is that going to be the first thing?
Well, AP is at 6.
Okay, then
So we should shift AP.
So we should do AP immediately following
Right.
the information.
okay. So information
So-
session at
Do we
6.
need a
So-
motion for that since we're moving a meeting?
It becomes you're not moving the meeting date, you're moving the meeting time.
But it's a published meeting time that we already agreed upon.
Right, so it's still a regular meeting.
So if it's only AP and we keep nothing on.
Why don't we consider doing it this way, okay?
Including it as,
Including the discussion with the public about this as an agenda item for
Right.
that meeting. And we just do that first and then move into the AP after.
Right.
I
And
think
then
it's
we're
well
not,
publicized, that makes sense.
yes, we will make
Sure
it
that
well
we-
publicized.
Do the
I
publicized.
don't know. I actually really prefer having it set out as a separate public information session. Because I think people they can lose track of it. That happened before last year. You remember that? We had two things on
I-
agendas.
Hiding it in a.
Somebody said,
Yeah.
am I supposed to wait through this agenda or is it the same thing?
Yes, it was confusing. It was confusing for somebody.
That you were confused?
Yes.
Oh, well, it wasn't you that I was thinking of, it was
Okay.
somebody else. But
Okay,
maybe-
now that you mentioned, I remember that conversation.
Yes. So I would agree. I would second that if we could have it as a separate.
So,
So we have it at 7:00 on Tuesday
So we-
after the AP meeting?
Maybe we do it before the AP meeting so you can discuss it during the AP.
Right, because you want your discussion and action because remember, they're not AP meetings, they're Board of Selectmen's meeting
Right.
With AP.
with AP. So you can have it at your Board of Selectmen's meeting.
are you saying that we can't change the time of the Board of Selectmen?
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if we're just safer. I can do research and we can find out. I mean, we're going to
We
be,
technically did it last week because we did the
yeah.
CROG presentation
I think we
first, immediately following.
yeah, I think we can do that.
And there was no police coming in to arrest anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we just say, make sure.
Well,
it's
as
well
a
publicized.
resident, I would just say that that's going to be of great interest. So as
Yeah.
the young lady was saying, a separate meeting directly focused on that for town input would be my suggestion as well.
Well, yeah, but I only want to go to so many meetings, so.
We're gonna do it on the same night though.
Same night.
That's
We
fine.
really have to come out once.
Listed as.
So I've got it at March 10th. We'll do the public informational meeting first. So the board can have discussion with the public about it. And
Yeah.
then we will have the regular scheduled meeting with AP and discussion and possible action about this item immediately following the public informational meeting.
I agree with that. And the only other additional comment I would make too is that I think in the charter, we have definitions of what public comment may be. So, limiting time
Oh, right.
and just making sure that is explicit
2
in
minutes.
the
So
call.
that way we're equitable between residents.
Yes. And that the opportunity is clear.
2 minutes and we don't want to hear repeated topic.
Yeah,
over
just-
and over and over.
Whatever, right. Yes.
Right.
There may be one other thing, but yes, thank you.
And I think didn't Rob hand you a photo of the plan?
We have that.
So that it makes, can that be tacked on?
It'll
a
be,
photo
I'm
or something?
gonna be putting it up right over there this week.
Okay, good. And then maybe for the information session, it could be maybe brought up here, put on an easel, something like that, so that it's facing people.
Make a couple copies of it.
Yeah.
Hi, excuse me. Point of clarity, what time is the public information session on March 10th?
6:00.
Thank you.
And then the Board of Selectmen with AP would be immediately
Can I
following.
make another comment about this area?
Well, yes, but we
No.
we don't usually have public comment after our public comment at the beginning of the agenda, but I'm going to cut you slack here. Go ahead.
I just want to remind folks that the current situation is not the best situation as it currently exists. And I had come to the Board of Selectmen about 3 or 4 months ago and said that there's poor signage. There's a very, as you
yeah, okay.
go through that merge.
Yeah,
And it's
thank
something
you.
that should be brought up to the DOT to take care of.
Yeah. Well, that's another discussion for another time, but thank you, Ron. Appreciate you
Okay.
bringing that up.
Wanted to
I don't
remind
mean
the
to cut
folks.
you short. We just got to keep moving here. Okay, so that takes care of D. Now we're on to the finance reports. Is there any question on the finance reports?
There's nothing that is highlighted for the board in our finance report, which demonstrates that there are no line items that we are currently concerned about from my perspective and the perspective of our finance director.
Is this the same one we looked at?
Last
Yeah,
meeting could be.
or 2 meetings ago? I think it was. Because we haven't had a finance committee meeting since the last one of these was included in a packet, I don't think.
So it could very well be the same. Who prints these out?
These are generated by the finance director.
Okay, by Joe.
Right, these have nothing to
So
do with
maybe-
the finance committee.
Well, like the last time we saw one of these in a packet, it was the same one that the finance committee had in the packet prior week.
That
Yeah,
could
I
be.
think that's accurate. Yes.
This may be, well, the tax collector one at the very least is the same one that we've seen. The more on the reverse side may be different.
So this is printed.
It's been a short time ago, so
Yeah.
there's probably not a lot of change.
Sure.
Yeah, the tax collector one is dated as of 12/31.
Right.
The other one is dated as of January 31.
Right.
So you might be right, David, that the tax collector one you might have already seen.
Yeah, that was the date I saw first, and then I saw the
Yeah.
date on the other one.
The other one is a little bit new.
All right, there's no questions there other than that. We'll go to consider an act on number 9, budget transfers.
I don't know that there's any action required. I think what we have is below the limit, so I think it's just for informational purposes.
I'd like to request that the one Board of Selectmen member's name who is misspelled in that list is corrected.
Is it 9?
No, it's the one who asked for the names in the first place.
Thank you.
I will make a motion to not take that personally.
So since there's no budget transfers, we're gonna move on to approval of minutes for January 13th.
I'll make a motion to approve the January 13th meeting minutes as presented.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Well, I can second that. Bryce will second that
Okay.
motion.
I'm just wondering why was the town clerk summary with salary expense included in this,
Oh,
in the finance packet? Was
Was
there?
that justification for the $1,400?
Oh, I see. Oh, that's what that's for?
That was a question. That was not a definitive.
Okay.
So I'm not sure I understood the question.
I'm wondering why this sheet was included in our packet tonight.
This one,
Which,
Oh, actually, that looks like no, it's justification of the $54 needed.
oh, the $54, yes.
oh, okay. All right, sorry. I didn't catch that. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. I saw there was one that was like almost $1,400 as well. That's why I was like, oh, could have been that too, but no, it's the 54.
Bryce seconded the minutes.
Yes.
yes.
Is there any discussion on the January 13th minute meetings? Bob, you're good?
Yeah, I think I was not here.
He was absent.
Okay.
Luckily, we still have a majority to approve it.
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So that's 4 yes. Bob is abstaining
Abstain.
and 2 absent. Now we move on to the January 21st.
I'll make a motion to approve the January 21st meeting minutes as presented.
Is there a second?
Oh, actually,
Who's here?
I'm going to amend my motion that we,
Wait, here.
that we move this to the next meeting because we only have 3 people that were here at the meeting that are also here today, so we don't have a majority to approve this. So I'll amend the motion to table the discussion of the January 21st meeting minutes to a future meeting.
We have 7 board. Well, okay.
No, I know, but
I'm in
so
favor.
the
Is there a second?
Bryce seconds that motion.
Discussion?
the discussion would be, so it would be the 3 of us approving when and
Right.
Bob were absent, and then Tim
Yeah.
and Mather aren't here.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So that's 5 yes. 2 absent. Next is the land use activity report.
Can we just make sure that these meeting minutes also get into the next packet?
I've made a note.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Same ones?
The same meeting minutes.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, the next packet.
That was for the January 21st meeting is where I made the note.
That's correct.
Land use activity report. So any discussion on that? That would be Patrice Carson.
I just want to say I appreciate getting these. I think they're detailed and it really gives everybody a good idea of what Patrice is doing.
Yeah, helps see the value and of what's going on behind the scenes.
Exactly.
Right, and we included the last 2
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes, thank you.
because we have new members that hadn't had the ability to see those in the past.
Yeah, I appreciate that. One of the questions that I had too, looking at, to David's point of seeing what she's doing, but I'm kind of curious too, as attending some of these events to get a better understanding on how they might directly benefit the town of Bolton. You know, and I don't know if that's, feasible in an abbreviated report, but it seems like she's going to a lot of great things that I don't, readily have the knowledge on how they might directly be benefiting the town.
Do you have an example that you want? I mean, I can ask her to outline that in her next report, but if you had an example, I could probably, give you at least a little bit of insight.
I don't know what your intent was with that comment, but I'm seeing like, hey, she's attending a webinar. Oh, okay, came back. She's attending a webinar is that professional development, is that included in her contract, or is that something that would be outside of?
Normally it's included during her work time, and normally, I think almost always, without, exception, they are things that benefit the town of Bolton. So she's been attending a lot of webinars and meetings recently that have to do with the housing bill, because we're trying to wrap our heads around this and understand it. So there's a lot of meetings that she's attended to that have to do specifically with that. And, that is an area that, not only the Board of Selectmen, but the Planning and Zoning Commission take a lot of direction and guidance from the information that she brings back.
I mean, to your point, David, are you saying that it's interesting for a consultant to be engaged in a professional development that they might benefit them outside of that?
I'm not sure, like, if she's involved in other towns potentially, or other municipalities, but if it's all benefiting Bolton, then
Yeah.
that would make sense.
So she's not an employee.
Right.
So,
Well, I think that was where the.
right. So we can't say that she cannot work for other municipalities.
Right.
But the reality is she works almost exclusively for the town of Bolton.
So to your point, I'm just thinking as a consultant, if you're going to professional development, that you don't necessarily charge the client for that PD unless the client is asking you to go to that PD specifically.
I'm aware of everything she does before she does it.
Okay.
And if there was a concern or a question, we would have that conversation.
Good point.
Yeah. Okay.
But we want to keep her professionalism up to date.
Yeah.
Right. No, and I fully acknowledge that, and I'm hesitating because I think that everything that I do see the benefit, and I do see that it makes sense the way it's articulated, and I do think it's something that we just want to keep in mind as we have further discussions.
I've had those same thoughts, and I watch it fairly carefully.
Thank you. So to where I was going before too, and this is like just looking at the CROG committees where she's on many of them, and that's fantastic. But are you getting like feedback on how on what's going on in some of these committee meetings that
Yes.
might?
Yeah, she always takes the time to sit with me and talk with me about anything that it may have an impact with Bolton. In particular, with the Transportation Committee, that's one that often has a lot of impact. And frankly, it's her participation in the Transportation Committee that's helped us get as far as we got with this interchange plan as quickly as we did. And so it's, it is beneficial, it's helpful. And the fact that she's able to represent us on some of these things means that you as members of the Board of Selectmen are not being asked to do it. And it keeps me on the things that are more relevant to, the administration of CROG rather than the nuts and bolts things every day. But she's very, very good about bringing the information back about anything she thinks we should be aware of, or things that may impact the town of Bolton.
Thank you.
And she's been on most of these committees, since she started here, prior to me being the town administrator. And so she has a long-standing history with CROG.
She has a long-standing history in her field as well. She's very
talented, very well respected.
Yeah.
Yes. No, this is helpful to illustrate the value add as well.
And like that cider mill property, she's got that on this. It was at the siting council. Is that what
It's a registry, state of Connecticut registry for properties that just took a lot of work. That was work on her part, work on my part, work on the town engineer's part to get that property up on that listing.
So that's where like Gorman and York representatives to kick off housing strategy study for cider mill property. So
right, and I will say that she's directly responsible for getting that property on the study.
So these guys are doing those reports should be coming in another month or something, right?
Yeah, I
It's
think
been
that's about right.
2-3 months now, 2 months, maybe. So the results of that will be surfacing soon.
And again, she's offered to meet with the board at some point if you would like that. She's happy to do that. And, we had this discussion again, this was with, a different makeup of the board. Her contract is somewhat vague, but, she's always expressed a willingness to pretty much do whatever we need her to do. And that's been she's been a very valuable asset to the town for over the years. So
I would have to say that most meetings they go to where they ask if there's any questions, she jumps right up and starts asking questions.
I respect that.
That's right. Not a lot, but very few people can jump up and ask a question in public about a topic unless you're a professional about it.
Yes.
All right, if there's no other questions there, the town administrator's report.
Jim,
Is there any-
as I go down the list, I see a thing about approving the community septic system with wetlands. How
Yes.
did that go? Explain it to me,
yeah,
please.
so in order to put the community septic system in, there will have to be some disturbance to the wetlands. And the wetlands committee, took a look at our plans, and they held 3 regular meetings and a public hearing, and then after the public hearing, they adjourned to another regular meeting and approved it. So it was a lengthy process. They asked a lot of very good questions, but I would say that the process went pretty well. I wish it had been shorter, but at the end of the day, it went very well.
Where does
So
it
where
put
do
us
we
in-
go from here?
We are working on bid specifications, and we will have to. This one has actually already gone to the Planning and Zoning Commission back in 2015. It received 8-24 approval, and so that does not need to be done.
Does it expire?
No.
Okay.
But the next thing is we are working on. It's a good question, by the way. So that's how long we've been talking about this project. You probably remember previous discussions about it, Bob, in your former days. But we're finally at the point where we can put together bid documents and go out to bid.
So where will it be?
So the septic field itself will actually be out. There's an area identified, and I'll make a note to send you a map that we have. But the area the actual septic field will be out on the farm. So there'll be a force main that serves the library, the town hall, the state trooper's office, and eventually when improvements are done on the farm to either building that require a septic system, it would connect there. So it's a force main, so it's a pump system, and then it goes into a septic field that's out on the farm. The only sad part about that is that that's a small area that will no longer be available to be hayed.
I was about to ask if it was a
Yeah.
natural manure.
What's that?
I was about to ask if it was natural manure.
Well, it's subsurface, so it really doesn't help with the growth of the grass. If it's constructed properly, it shouldn't be a green patch, right? But the heavy rubber tires from the farm tractors would compact the soil, and for a septic system to operate properly, it really needs to breathe. And so, that will be an area that we will have to take over mowing and will not be able to be hayed. But it's fairly small in the grand scheme of things. But I'm making myself a note to send you a map.
Is it less than an acre, do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And did you try to slide it stay as far back as you can. That way it doesn't.
So it's as far, yeah, so we were really had to put it where the soils worked. And there's not a lot of great soils in Bolton, and there's not a lot of great soils on the farm.
Yeah.
So that really was the dictator of where the septic field is going, is where the soils were suitable for that.
And then there are going to be pipes from the field to here, this building.
Underground, yes.
Yeah, and do they come right through the field that's right behind the town hall?
So the way that it's been designed is so that they parallel where the Heritage Farm Trail will go.
Okay, so it's going to be tucked up closer to the tree line?
Yeah, well, I think it'll be on this side of it, not necessarily in the tree line, but on this side, we did that so, maybe if it needs assistance, we can get out there with a UTV with some equipment using the trail so that, we keep the feet of the machine dry to get out there. But, we certainly can't take a truck out there, but a lightweight UTV or some other piece of maintenance equipment we could take out there. So the idea is that it would parallel that.
Okay.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah,
You're
I'd like
welcome.
to see the map.
Yeah,
Well, and the, that area, I don't know if you remember this, that area is actually called out on the bid documents for renting the farm. So that was an area that's outlined as may not be available.
Okay.
As long as it's not under construction, it's available for the farmer to hay. But, once it's constructed, and we're going to have to try to figure out some way to mark it off so that they know where to stay out of with the farm equipment.
Build a stone wall.
Double headstones.
Any other questions on the report?
Yeah, I do. I have one about the recycling. Where was that? You completed quarterly report on trash and recycling. I'd be very interested to see that. And we used to have on the town website, on the recycling page, a little statement, something like residents recycled X amount of tons of.
Yeah, I remember seeing used to be a number.
Right. And I thought that was really good. And so if this quarterly report if it's good news, why don't we publish that? And because we want to encourage people.
Let me look at that. We're going to have to, we are on that topic. We do have to do a informational campaign. We got unfortunately a bad report from our recycling company, which is Casella, that takes all of our municipal solid waste. We had 40% contamination in cardboard during the last audit, which is really poor.
Does that mean like people throwing dirty pizza boxes in?
They actually sent us some photographs. So you're even supposed to take the tape off the boxes. And I think a lot of people don't know that.
Okay.
I know, when I take it out, I know recently I said to my wife, we're going to take the tape off the Amazon box. She's like, why? I'm like, yeah, because it's contaminated. We're supposed to take the tape off.
So
even trying to recycle, those wax paper cartons, milk ice cream. Well, yeah,
Or
kind of like ice
takeout
cream, but, like,
containers,
juice
there's
comes
cheaper
in.
plastic as well.
Those aren't recyclable.
No.
It takes an
Well,
industrial.
it's
recycling
cardboard,
facility.
so you think you can.
Yeah, it's covered in wax, so it takes an industrial recycling facility to be able to process that, which most towns don't have access to.
So it would be good to have a refresher for our residents.
Yeah, it's definitely necessary based on that report, because at some point, if we continue to get negative reports like that, we get charged more money.
So just food for thought, because way long ago in 8th grade, I did like a research report on this. We could get some of the school, either middle school or high school kids involved in trying to get that information out, just because it's a good way for them to learn as well. And it could be related to some of their studies.
Yeah,
Good
that'd be
idea.
great.
And you can supervise them.
Yeah, it's less work for you. It's just,
Yeah, no, it's a great
looking
idea.
at it rather than.
Well, I know that, look, those educational campaigns have worked really good. I mean, I look back to my childhood, which, was a long time ago, but, one of my favorite things when I was a kid was Smokey the Bear, right? And, I happened to love Smokey the Bear when I was a kid, but, that was a message that kids brought home. Kids brought home messages about not smoking. Kids brought home messages about fire prevention. And so, the children learn it at school, they get passionate about it, they bring it home. And that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Great.
So I made a note and I'll talk with Superintendent Caruso about it.
Okay, Bryce?
Yeah.
You didn't want Smokey the Bear.
No, I was going to make a silly comment.
Oh, that's okay. I don't mind. It's been
It could be on our town TikTok.
It's
page.
been a long day.
We could have a TikTok dance about recycling.
Are you offering to be the subject?
I'm flattered, but no, thank you.
He's volunteering his wife. I should use to do it.
The question I did have on the report is status of the STV report and then next steps.
So STV has been making site visits. They were actually at Town Hall today. They were at the Senior Center today. I think they anticipated being done with their site visits today. And then they're going to be working internally to put that information into a draft report. They will meet with John and I regarding their draft report. And then we will be bringing it to I don't know if you want to bring it to the Facilities and Public Safety Subcommittee or first, so that they can take a stab at it before it comes to the full board,
Let's do the full board.
or just bring it to the
It's
full board.
important information. Everybody should know.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to go through this,
And
in my opinion.
And the demographer is working on the statistics that we asked for.
Wonderful. And so then timing wise, March or April?
I did ask the question about when it's going to be done. I didn't get a clear answer. I'm going to continue to press.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the administrator's report?
So just because I saw you thinking about that word, it's the person who is
I know what a
well-versed.
demographer is. Just
So we've got our finance committee meeting on February 20th.
Can I report on one more thing?
Yeah.
It's actually not written in my report because I didn't have the information until today. Ty and Bond has agreed to accept our offer of $2,500.
Oh, good. Okay.
I was just asked about that.
So I agreed to that change order today. We're going to finalize that. And that's our last outstanding bill for that project.
so then we have 97.5.
And then we'll have a little bit, because we left money there for that. Well, there's a whisker of money left to cover that. We left $10,000 there.
Oh, great.
Oh,
So
so
even
you can add
more than-
$3,500.
So we'll have a little.
Now we're talking.
money- We have a little more money we can move.
Well, it wasn't 75 that.
75 was the cost overrun.
Oh, okay.
And I said,
Cut it in half. Yeah.
I said, the board had conversations and the number that you guys seemed to be willing to accept at that time was 2,500.
That meeting probably cost them $2,500.
You probably did. Well, and how many meetings have they had since that?
Yeah. Yes.
And so.
We had this discussion last time about how much it costs to have the meetings, about the costs to have it that are an overrun.
So I sent another email last week and I got the response today. I turned the change order right around, signed it for the $2,500. And now we'll get an invoice. We'll pay the invoice and that project will be 100% closed out.
Oh, actually, speaking of invoices, did we inquire at all about extending the
repayment term for
repayment
those.
terms for the
We
Lowe's card?
did. It's not offered.
It's not offered. Interesting.
John Butrimovich reached out directly to Synchronicity, who is the vendor that provides credit services for Lowe's, and they said it is not available.
Okay.
False advertising.
Very intriguing. Yes.
I don't know if it's because it's a municipality or for whatever reason, but they said it was not available.
It's just difficult because it's like if they're giving all municipalities that 30 days, obviously not every municipality is going to be able to turn around a payment in 30 days, and they just know that they're going to end up getting more money out of it.
And that may
That's the
be the
deal.
reason that they say it's their policy.
So.
But yes, I did bring that up and John acted on it right away. He checked out with them and he got back to me a couple days ago.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you for following up on that.
Yeah.
And thank you for the update.
So I guess we're down to number 13.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Bryce seconds.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Bob.